Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to tell them the Bro Country podcast sent you in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome back to the Bro Country podcast. My name is Joey, and I am joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris over here. What's going on over there tonight, Joey?
Man, not a whole lot. It's been a crazy couple of weeks not recording, man. How you been?
I've been okay. I've missed doing these with you, so I'm excited for tonight.
Heck yeah, man. And we hope that you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever holiday you celebrated at the end of December of 2020. We hope you had a good one. We've got a pretty cool episode for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking our end-of-year 2020 recap, where Chris and I are basically just going to go and talk about what songs and albums that we really liked out of 2020, do our little ranking and rating system as we always do. But we would be remiss not to start out with the news out of Nashville, and we've got some interesting news this week.
Yeah, what's going on in Nashville right now, Joey?
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about, it necessarily isn't necessarily news, but something I found interesting from a Rolling Stone article was that country music had a 19% increase in streams for the year of 2020 over year 2019.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Huge. That's like monstrous. And, you know, you can give credit to Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen, because in that same article that I read, it said that Luke had 2.7 billion streams.
Goodness gracious.
And Morgan Wallen had 1.9 billion.
My God, that's wild, isn't it?
Those are monstrous numbers.
Those are monstrous numbers, and
insane.
2021 is going to be even bigger for those guys, I think.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But moving right along here, a song was announced, "Undivided." That's going to be dropping on January 13th of this year, featuring Tim McGraw and Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I think this will be the first song credited just to Tyler, right? And not FGL.
Yeah, I believe you are correct, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think I was reading an article today that said that, you remember probably a month and a half ago when he got COVID and he had to quarantine in his bus.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that he wrote like 20 songs while he was in the bus. And I think he actually wrote this on the bus while he was quarantined.
Wow, I heard a little teaser of it on, I think, Tim's Instagram yesterday.
Oh yeah, how'd it sound?
It sounded pretty good. I'll be anxious to hear it once it drops.
Yeah, they had a big hit with May We All, and they've always had kind of a fun relationship. So it doesn't surprise me that he asked Tim to jump on there with him.
Nah, that'll be very interesting. But something cool that happened, Randall King tweeted me back actually the other day. I tweeted him asking him to come to Ohio to do his show this year, and he said something like, "Hell yeah, I'm planning on it," or something like that. And if you guys don't know Randall King, you are missing out. He just dropped an EP recently named after his sister who had recently passed, Leanna. So go check that out if you haven't heard that. But I thought that was pretty cool. And speaking of his activity and activeness on Twitter with us, Chris, you actually tweeted him.
I did.
Talking about
from our account.
Yeah, and, from our Bro Country Pod Twitter account. If you're not following that, go check us out. And basically just said how we're going to be rating our songs from 2020, and you wouldn't be surprised if one of his songs didn't make our lists. And so I tweeted in a reply and tagged him and asked him to come on the show. And he DM'd me on my personal Twitter and said something like, "Thanks for supporting and listening," or something like that. And I followed up in that DM and asked him to come on the show again. And he hasn't opened it yet. I don't know if he will. But there's hope that Randall King could possibly come on the Bro Country podcast. I don't know.
He's going to. I got a good feeling, man. We
gonna work
we
on
both
it. We're
love
gonna work on
Randall.
him. No.
We love him.
Huge fans of Randall. So, like I said, if you guys haven't heard him or heard of him, go check him out. He's got some great music.
You know, the venue there, Flanagan's that we saw, Luke.
Yeah.
That would be an awesome place to see Randall.
Perfect. That would be a perfect spot.
Yeah, because you got to figure that, like, acts Randall's size will figure out a way to do some touring coming up, and outdoor concerts are obviously going to be the best and easiest ones to pull off. So we might need to send some tweets and some messages to Flanagan's and see if they can get Randall up there. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. And there's actually another kind of more local venue to me in Franklin, Ohio, called JD Legends. That's kind of a similar type of outdoor venue.
Oh, that's cool. Who have you seen there?
Aaron Lewis, Drew Parker, a couple other acts there. So yeah, that would be a really good venue for him too. But yeah, here's hoping that Randall makes it to Ohio this year. Maybe you can make the road trip and join us on that one.
You know I'll be there. I'm jonesing for any road trip. I drive around the block and pretend like it's a road trip right now.
Right. Well, we might get to our acoustic jam show that got rescheduled next week.
Next Friday, right? Week from
Friday,
tonight,
January 15th. Let's hope
fingers crossed, man.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get that rescheduled email 2 days before like we did last month. So
that's right.
But anyway,
I got faith.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. I am not gonna get my hopes up too high like last time, so we'll see. But the big news of the week, Mr. Morgan Wallen dropped his monster double album, Dangerous, today.
He did. You stayed up till midnight to listen to some of the tracks, and I was long asleep.
Oh, dude, I watched like the pre-release party thing on YouTube, or like it wasn't really a party, but like the pre-release interview that he did, and he sang "Sand in My Boots," while he was playing the piano, and that was really just beautiful, man. He's got such a good voice, and he's such a good pianist, so that was really cool to see. And I fell asleep. I stayed up till about midnight. I only made it till about, the last time I looked at the clock, it was like 12:40. So I didn't get to listen to the whole record last night, but I listened to the rest of it today, and it was a smash, man. I
listened to it through a couple times. It takes an hour and a half to get through it.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 37 minutes of, it's 30 songs, so yeah, it's like an hour and 37 minutes, I think, is what I read on Spotify earlier today, and I won't lie, the first time I listened through it, I was like, man, these kind of sound similar a little bit. And there are some songs on the record that do sound kind of similar, like breakup, heartbreak, sad, songs. But like the second and third time I listened through it, I'm like, man, this is a pretty solid project for Morgan, and this is going to be huge for him. So
yeah, it's definitely going to be huge. I mean, he said he'd been working on it for 3 years. So I mean, he's definitely put a lot into it. I mean, tell us a little bit about what went on with the album this week and some of the craziness that happened.
Yeah, man. So a few days ago, I was on his Instagram just kind of creeping to see what was going on with the pre-album stuff, and he put a post up saying that Walmart had accidentally leaked a couple of his albums, like a couple different Walmarts, and he didn't really specify where, but I guess supposedly a few Walmart stores had sold his album before the actual release date, and so he started getting all like defensive and saying, well, if anybody's gonna leak my music, it's gonna be me. And
that's right.
Like put them on his Instagram story and uploaded them on Twitter, and I think he teased like 3 or 4 different songs off the record. And
yeah, I mean, he's been teasing a bunch of the songs for the last couple of months, but he definitely teased a couple that he had not let leak out yet. Yeah,
that no one had really heard, a few of them anyway, that he hadn't really played on Instagram or Facebook or anything on one of those live videos. But and he ended that video though where he was talking about Walmart leaking it with how he put 2 extra songs on the Target version of the album, that if you go buy the physical copy of Dangerous through Target, you get 2 bonus tracks. So was this a marketing ploy, or was this factual?
Well, did you see that today, like in all of the Morgan Wallen groups on Facebook, like people went to Target to buy it, and no one could figure out how to play the 2 extra songs?
No, I didn't see that.
It was like hundreds of people that could not figure out how to play the 16th and 17th track. So I don't know if they were like hidden tracks and like you had to fast forward from like the last song, or if they messed up and didn't include them. But that's going to be interesting to see what comes of that, because all kinds of people were saying they couldn't hear the tracks.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even know
crazy.
that. I wonder.
I mean, this is probably, I mean, this is the biggest album that's came out since Luke's album last year in country music. So, I mean, there's a lot of anticipation and momentum behind this thing. So it's going to be, the numbers this week are going to be massive.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And it's funny that you say like how massive this is going to be, because I was listening to the Raised Rowdy podcast where Drew Parker was on for an interview, and I was actually listening to that yesterday, I want to say. And I forget how it got brought up, and don't quote me on all the words I'm about to say, but it was something like the host of Raised Rowdy asked Drew like something about Morgan, and Drew was like, I don't really know the guy, but I really like his music and he's doing big things. And basically, I'm paraphrasing, Luke better watch out because Morgan's on his heels for being like the next biggest thing. And I mean, you and I have talked about that before. We've even talked about that probably on the show, that Luke and Morgan are the two biggest things in country right now. And I mean, with this album, the streams are going to be astronomical, I would imagine.
Absolutely, man.
So definitely going to be an interesting year for both those guys. Hopefully we get some more Luke music this year.
Oh, I'm sure we will. I think Luke has released new music every year since like 2014. I mean, sometimes it's, there early on it was only a couple of songs, but I mean, we've ended up usually getting new Luke music every year. So I'm sure we will.
Yeah. So what's up with Florida Georgia Line, man? What are they getting into these days?
I mean, we've been talking about Florida Georgia Line for the last couple weeks, because I mean, there was the rumors of the breakup, there was this and that, there was the political stuff. Now, Tyler's doing the song with Tim, and they've got a new album coming out in January, February, and so they were doing like a Zoom interview with one of the big kind of news magazines and stuff, and they kind of just admitted that they were both ready to do some solo stuff, that they were not going to break up, but that they both were going to release solo projects in 2021. And then literally like the next day is when Tyler announced the song with Tim McGraw. So, I mean, it's probably going to be healthy for them to just do some stuff away from each other, because, most of the time when it's duos like this, they just go until they can't stand each other anymore, and then they break up. And, I mean, it's... Brian is actually, I mean, Tyler does pretty much all of the lead singing, but Brian is a vocalist. So, it's very similar to Brooks and Dunn in that Ronnie did 95% of the singing, but Kix was a singer and is a singer, so, I mean, everybody thinks of, the rich and famous and all the stuff, but I'm sure that Brian has got to have all kinds of songs and stuff that he wants to get out to the world. So I mean, I was actually listening to some of the early FGL stuff today, just because I knew we were going to be talking about all this stuff. And Brian sings one of the verses on Dirt, the lead single off of the second album, and he's got a great voice. Like, it's not nearly as distinctive as Tyler, because Tyler's just got like, I mean, as soon as he starts singing, you know who it is.
Right.
But I mean, if Brian puts out some solo stuff, I'll give it a shot and see what it's like.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm with you. Yeah. They're two talented guys, and definitely don't want to see them break up, because they are. I've mentioned it on the show before. I do like FGL. I don't love everything they put out, that's for sure, but they definitely had some jams over the years.
And they're awesome live. Have you seen them live?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah.
They're always as opening acts, but I mean, they're even as opening and middle acts, dude. They put on a hell of a show, and they always get the crowd ready. So yeah, definitely love seeing them live.
Yep.
But
absolutely,
yeah. So I think that, other than the charts you're about to talk about, pretty much wraps up our little news out of Nashville segment. But what did the charts look like this past week, man?
Yeah, so we haven't done a podcast in a couple of weeks. So I mean, most of the chart stuff there right after we did the last podcast was just all Christmas stuff. Carrie's album was number one again, but then this past week, Luke's album is number one again. It's probably going to be number one again next week, because the chart is always 1 week behind, because they have to tabulate it. And then after that, I'm assuming that Morgan's going to be number one for Lord knows how long.
No, you wouldn't say.
And the number one song on radio this week was "Champagne Night" by Lady Antebellum.
That's a good one though.
It is, yeah.
That's
I
a
mean,
good song.
they've been around since like '05, '06.
That's
I
hard to
mean,
believe.
yeah. I mean,
Doesn't seem like it.
yeah, they've been around. I mean, they were young when they started. So, they've been around a long time. They're still cranking out hits. And the number one hot country song is still "I Hope" by Gabby Barrett.
That's
I mean,
she's
I mean,
crushing it.
yeah. I mean, I think the second single, "The Good Ones," is like top 15 at radio already, and she's still got probably the number one streaming and crossover song in country right now with "I Hope." I mean, it's totally
It's a big song for
pretty
her.
awesome, pretty awesome to see.
Yeah.
But I was looking because I literally look at this one statistic every single week. Every week that Luke has another week at number one. So Luke has been number one on the country album chart for 87 weeks. 50 weeks for the debut, 1 week for the prequel, and now 36 weeks for the newer CD. In the history of country music, Garth, Alabama, Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, and Shania Twain are the only people that have been number one for more weeks than Luke Combs.
Gosh, and he's only
in the
been
history of country music.
That's insane, man. And he's only been in the mainstream for, I would say, 3 years. And I mean, and
three and a half years.
The first year of that was mostly just like the first bangers, Hurricane, When It Rains, It Pours.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean,
he's having a career, man.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
I was talking to Lindsay yesterday, the day before, and I mean, it really sucks for Luke that this year he was by far the biggest star in country music, and he couldn't tour.
Yeah,
I mean,
that does suck.
man.
Man.
I mean, it's going to be awesome once we tour again. Everybody's going to be pumped for the shows and stuff, but like, you only get one chance to be what Luke was in 2020. You know what I mean? And he's still going to be. I mean, him and Morgan are still going to be the two biggest stars moving forward. But like, it just kind of sucks for him that he lost that opportunity to
that momentum. Just kind of
to lose that momentum. But I mean,
that's okay. It'll be picked back
okay.
up. Hopefully, one of these days we can get back to some Combs shows.
That's right.
Anybody that'll
Anybody.
sing to us. Anybody out there? If you got an acoustic guitar and a mic, come to Ohio or West Virginia. We're down.
Right.
But
that's funny.
Anyway,
that pretty much wraps that up.
Cool, man. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. Like we talked about a little bit ago, we're just going to be talking about our. I think you have the same number as I do. I ranked my top 10 favorite songs from 2020.
Yep.
Threw in some honorable mentions and have a few albums I want to talk about, and then I have a couple of the worst songs in my opinion of 2020.
Me too, man.
So we'll go ahead and kick it off like we always do. Go 10-1, our lowest favorite to our most favorite.
Okay.
And I at number 10, I've got "Starting Over" by Chris Stapleton.
Oh, good choice. And just to tell everybody, we allowed ourselves to have up to 2 songs for each artist. No more than that, because I mean, I'm being honest with you, Joe. I spent the last day and a half looking at all these songs, and if I wanted to, I could have made the whole top 10 nothing but Luke, Eric, and Stapleton songs.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like,
I
really could have.
And actually, I should have probably prefaced with, I only picked songs that were released in 2020. I'm not sure if you did it all based off charts. So there might be some 2019 releases on yours.
Well, I think that I had a couple 2019s in there, and I actually took them out because there were enough songs that I didn't need to put. I didn't need to put stuff in there.
Yeah, I tried to keep it exclusive to 2020 releases. So, but yeah, that's what I had at number 10, man. "Starting Over" by Stapleton. What do you have?
I had 6 Feet Apart by Luke Combs at number 10.
Boom. A very 2020 song.
Yeah. 40 years from now, when we hear that song, we will know exactly when Luke released it.
People, especially people like Eric Church, always talks about music freezing a moment in time and blah blah blah. That song will take us back to this past year every single time because it was literally written for that.
Yeah,
so it's just
absolutely.
crazy. But number 9, this one might be a surprise to you. I have "We Didn't Have Much" by Justin Moore.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah,
that is a good choice. I didn't have that, but I love Justin and I love that song.
Yeah, very good song, man. What'd you have at number 9?
Number 9, I have a song that I'm going to guess you have really high. And it's While You're Gone by Drew Parker.
Okay, we'll see. I might have it on the list.
You
It
might
might
have
have
it, or
squeaked in
or
here.
you'll have another Drew song. I can probably guess maybe.
We'll see.
We'll
Number
see.
8.
Yeah, what you
I've
got at 8?
I Hope You're Happy Now. Carly Pearson, Lee Bryce.
Oh, that's a really really good one.
Yeah, man.
That she actually released that in October last year, so I did not include it because of that.
Oh, really? And
Yeah, but it charted all year long, and it was one of the biggest songs of 2020. So
that was a 19 release, wasn't it?
yeah.
Well, I just lied to you guys. I do have one 2019.
No, but I've got
release.
one exactly like that coming up here. So
Man,
it
was the end of the
dominated
year.
2020.
I could have swore that was this year. Well, I misspoke. Let me retract my statement. I do have a 2019 release on here, and don't be surprised if there might be another one.
That's funny. Number 8. This is this one was really hard for me to choose because I love everything that Randall King put out this year. But my Randall King song that I picked is "Taking It As It Comes."
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, man. I mean,
First one off the EP.
yeah. I mean, it's I think he put out 5 or 6 songs in 2020, and they are all amazing. And I mean, this is just the one that I've listened to the most because it just has a really nice like George Strait kind of groove to it, and it's got a I mean, you can just it's not a banger. He doesn't have any bangers because he's a straight country country guy, but it's got such a good rhythm to it, and I just love it.
Dude, his instrumentation is phenomenal with his
It is,
smooth,
man.
like Texas sounding voice. Man, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It is crazy, man.
I'm
So
surprised
good.
he's not bigger than he is yet now, but I think we'll see it.
Oh yeah, he's building. He's coming. I mean, the only thing that's going to stop Randall King from being a huge star is just Nashville.
Where he's
They
at.
just pick and choose which Texas guys they're going to get behind and which ones they're not going to get behind. And I
Yeah.
mean, if
Could
they
happen for Cody Johnson.
right,
So we'll
yeah,
see.
I mean, so we'll see.
I think some
What
of
you-
those
what you
guys
got
are
at
fine
7
with
over
it,
there?
though, man. I mean, not to get off track too bad, but number 7, I've got "Down to One" by Luke Bryan.
Oh, okay.
Love that song.
I know that is a song you could listen to over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
I have it was hard for me to pick on this one, but I went with this is a deep cut. This is probably the deepest cut that I've got on this list. It's Stone by Ashley McBride.
Ooh, nice. That is a deep cut.
Yeah, it's
All right.
I had Stone and Sparrow written down, and I went with Stone because I mean Ashley is just I mean other than Carrie, I mean I take Carrie out of the equation, but other than Carrie, Ashley's probably my favorite female voice and vocalist in country music right now. She can just make you cry, man. She can tear you up, and if you haven't, if people out there haven't listened to Never Will, her second CD, you need to listen to the whole CD, and you need to listen to Sparrow and especially to Stone. I mean, that is some heart tear jerkers right there, and she can deliver it better than anybody.
Yeah, most definitely, man. That's a very, very good album.
It is.
Very good. But number 6, you guessed it earlier. "While You're Gone," Drew Parker.
I knew you. I mean, I love that song. I could have put it higher, but I mean, everything else is just so good. So that's the only
It's
reason
hard
I
to
had
rank
it
a
lower.
top 10, man. I had to go back and forth a few times on some
I
of
know.
these.
I know.
But yeah, I got "While You're Gone" by Drew Parker at number 6. So what do you got there,
Number
man?
number 6 for me. This I did not have this on my list. I completely forgot about this song, even though I listened to it all the time and I was going back through. And I can't even tell you why, but when Sam Hunt's new CD came out this year, I was listening. I mean, I put it on, and the very first track on the CD is 2016. And for whatever reason, man, this song just stopped me in my tracks, and I have just gone back to it over and over and over this year. And it's a super stripped down acoustic song for Sam, slow heartbreak song, but I just love it. So
Very
2016 by Sam Hunt was my number 6 choice.
He does that style so well too. That stripped down acoustic stuff.
He
And,
does.
You know, many would say that he's a pop singer and that he does a lot of the snap tracks, and I won't disagree with that. But when he sings those stripped down songs and sings those country sounding songs, he does it very well.
He does.
but
He
it
really
just
does,
doesn't,
man.
Doesn't do the job for him overall. I guess his fan base loves that poppy stuff, and that's okay because that's
And
his thing. But
as a side note, I was sitting here going over the list with Lindsay, and Lindsay is more of a hardcore country fan than I am. Like, she is like stone cold country, and she loved "Hard to Forget" by Sam Hunt this year.
dude,
And-
I'm gonna plead the fifth, so I'm not judged either way by our listeners.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I've listened to that quite a few times too. So.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a fun one, you know.
It is a fun one.
Yeah, it's not super country, obviously, but it's a fun upbeat track. So I'm
That's
not gonna
right.
hate on it.
That's
but
right. Oh, here we go, man. Top five.
Top five. This was really hard for me. I've got "Hell of a View" by Eric Church.
Oh man,
Beautiful
That's
song.
yep.
Love it. You know, just a great song. Classic Church, just very
Classic
good.
Church.
Love song, very very good.
Yep. And it's gonna be. I mean, it's flying up the radio chart. It's gonna be a huge hit for Eric.
When it was announced as a single, I knew I was like, this one's gonna be like one of the like some of it just kind of got up there and
Yeah.
one of his because he doesn't have a ton of number ones, right? So
Yeah.
when this one was announced, I was like, yeah, this one's gonna fly up.
Yeah, Eric is so good and does what he wants to do. That, like, he releases a song like "Stick That in Your Country" song that he knows is not going to be a smash hit, but then he knows that he can come right behind that with another song like "Hell of a View," and it's going to be a huge hit for him.
He knows what he's doing. He plays the game,
does.
man. But
Yeah.
he doesn't cave to the monster that is Nashville. He just kind of does his own thing. So,
That's right.
but what do you have at number 5, man?
Number 5 is this is the only one that I kind of bent my rules on because this song actually came out I think two and a half years ago, but it's a single now, and they just released the duet version. "Dear Rodeo,"
Ooh.
Cody Johnson, Reba McEntire.
Fire. That music video is pretty
Fire,
badass,
man.
too.
This song, I mean, this is like it's like Brooks and Dunn, George Strait. I mean, it's like the cowboy country that everybody grew up on. Garth could have sang this song. Like, this is and it's real because Cody and Reba, but especially Cody, was a rodeo guy. I mean, so there's just this. I mean, I almost put this song higher. Yeah, I almost put this song higher, but number 5 for me.
Awesome, man. That's a good one. Number 4, I have got the smash hit of 2020, "Forever After All" by Luke Combs.
Oh, number 4, man. You could. This is the hit of 2020, man.
It was hard not to put it higher, but yeah, that was. It speaks for itself. If you've heard it,
yeah, it does speak for itself.
Yeah, if you've listened to our previous shows, you know how well it did statistically, and it's still doing well. So,
Yeah,
very good song for Luke.
It's killing it for Luke. And Luke, "Better Together" is at number 3 on the radio chart this week, so it'll probably be number 1 in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So we're going to get a new radio single coming up in probably the next 3 or 4 weeks. And if he releases "Forever After All" next, it's going to. I mean, it'll probably be number 1 at radio within 6 or 7 weeks because it's already a smash. So I mean, it's.
Do you think they'll release another love song like that though, back to back?
I don't know, man. I think honestly, I think it all depends on how fast Luke wants to move on to other new music. You know what I mean? Like, if he wants to just release one more radio single from this deluxe album, I think they'll probably go with "Forever After All." But if he wants to release 2 singles like he did with the first deluxe, I think he'll go in a different direction and then end with "Forever After All." But Luke can do whatever he wants. It doesn't matter. Whatever he puts out is a smash. So it's hard to predict what he's going to do.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 4, man. What's sitting at number 4 for you?
Oh man, number 4 is Chris Stapleton. I literally looked at the CD and there were 4 or 5 songs that popped out that I could have put here. I almost put "Nashville, Tennessee." I almost put Maggie's song, but I put number 4, "You Should Probably Leave." It was the first Stapleton song that I ever heard 5 years ago at CMA Fanfare or FanFest. People have been waiting on it for years and years and years, and I think it's already got like 12 or 13 million streams. And for Stapleton, non-single, he's not Kane Brown or Luke or Morgan. I mean, his songs are usually slow burns. But this song has just taken off, and it's just one of those songs that I had wanted for so long, and it ended up being just as good or better than I was hoping it would be. So, number 4 for me, Stapleton. You should probably leave.
Nice. Yeah, that album, man, is just solid. And we've talked about this before. I'm not the biggest Stapleton fan. I don't dislike the guy. I always have to make sure that's known. I like Stapleton. I just don't get into him as much as some people do. But that album is just 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I was thinking, the way country music is right now, there's very few artists that like people are dying for their next album. Like, there's all kinds of artists that have big hits, but like Luke, Stapleton, Morgan, like, people are ready for like huge projects for those kind of people. And we just got a deluxe from Luke. We got a new Stapleton album. We just got a new Morgan album, and we're probably going to get a new Eric album pretty soon. So I mean, it's it's a good time for country music.
Absolutely, man. Especially for guys like us that love almost all those guys. So
that's right, man.
But yeah, man. Number 3, top three, rounding out the top 3.
Here we go.
I've got, and this was maybe one of the songs I looked forward to the most this year. Especially with the way 2020, excuse me, this is 2021, right? This was the song I looked forward to the most in 2020, and that's Through My Ray-Bans by Eric Church.
Are you ready? Are you ready, Joey?
Am I ready? You didn't hear me?
Because I have it at number 3 too.
oh my gosh, yes. I thought I cut out there for a second. I was like, what's going on?
No. I knew we'd have at least one. I knew we'd have at least one
crazy.
That was identical.
It never fails, man. We always have something similar. But yeah, Through My Ray-Bans.
Tell me about it. Why'd you put it up there at number 3?
It's just such a special song, man, and it's a tribute to those that lost their lives at the Route 91 festival in Vegas where the shooter was, and I didn't know that until after the song had released, to be honest with you. I thought it was just kind of like Eric's tribute to his fans in general, basically like your escape from reality where you get to go to a live show and he gets to see you through his Ray-Bans, with a drink in your hand, no one gives a damn, blah, 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 blah. So, I always thought it was kind of his tribute to his fans, but then after it dropped, he put something on, well, he doesn't run his social media accounts, but whoever does put something on his social media that as a tribute to the folks that lost their lives, and it just hit differently when I heard that.
Absolutely.
I was like, man, what a beautiful song. And I mean, he's, that really affected him a lot, I think, and a lot of people that are haters, like, well, he wasn't even on stage when that happened. I'm like, but those were still his people. Those people bought the passes to be there for all nights of the festival, and it doesn't matter because if he was there, like physically there or not, because country music's a family, man. So
yeah, Eric is so good at writing a song that is like super specific, but also like super like universal. And this song is like kind of like you said, like you could take it as just him viewing the crowd on a Friday night at a show and everybody just being there together, or you can take it as a tribute to that. You were ready for this one to come out when it came out. I mean, it was. This is the one that when we finally get to see Church again, he better sing this song.
Gonna bring tears in my eyes, man.
That's right, man.
Tears of joy when we finally get to be together at shows again. But
absolutely,
good, great song.
Yep.
But yeah, that was
number 3 for both of us.
And you're number 3 too, so no surprise there, right?
Yep.
Number 2, top 2 for me. Number
Here
2, I've got "Around Forever" by Randall King. And
I knew you would have a Randall King song. I did not know if you could have picked that. You could have picked "Hey Moon." You could have picked his cover of "I'll Fly Away." I mean,
that whole EP is amazing. And for the third time on this episode, if you guys have not heard Randall King's new EP, turn me off, stop listening to me, and go look that up because it is amazing. But
yes,
"Around Forever," that is a beautiful song. Basically, the overall meaning is just to make time for those that you love and the people that you care about because they're not going to be around forever, and just to make sure you get together when you can. And it's just the meaning behind it is just so crucial. And again, his voice, his smooth Texas voice with instrumentation is phenomenal. So that's why it's number 2 for me.
Yeah, such a good song, man. And I know it holds a special place in your heart, and you're going to remember that song forever. So
Yeah, man, most definitely. But yeah, what you got number 2, my man?
Number 2 is this was my favorite radio single of the year by far, and it's the one I've listened to the most. "Ain't Always the Cowboy" by John Party.
Oh, I love that one, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was this. I had this at number 1 earlier in the week, and it barely got slid down to number 2. But it's. I mean, I've loved it since the beginning. I've pretty much Party is. I mean, he could easily mix right in with the Texas crowd. Like his music is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more Bakersfield. He's got more horns and kind of like a mariachi style to some of the stuff. But I mean, the instrumentation in his voice is very Texas influenced. So he could.
Yep.
I mean, he could slide right in with Randall and those guys.
Absolutely, I love Party, man.
I love it.
Good number 2.
Yeah, and are we gonna have the same number 1?
I don't think so, man. I
Okay.
think I've got something different. I
Oh,
will
man.
let you know. It was my most streamed song on Spotify this year, and that is "More Than My Hometown" by Morgan Wallen.
Oh,
You know,
you're right. We do not have the same song. Tell me about "More Than My Hometown."
you sound shocked. No, I'm kidding.
No,
but,
well, I shouldn't be shocked. I should have been able to guess that.
but no, I love that one, man. Just the little small town anthem. I love you more than this. I love you more than that. But I can't love you more than my hometown. And the girl leaves the guy, and he, true to his roots, not wanting to leave his hometown to go be in the hills of Hollywood or whatever. So I think the beat of it and the instruments are great, and Morgan's voice is just awesome on it. And it's just one that I kept going back to over and over. For whatever reason, I don't know. It's not really relatable to me, in a personal way or anything like that. I just love that song and listen to it the most in 2020. So that was my number 1, man. What do you have?
Gosh, I feel I should have been able to guess that because all day long I've been trying to
Wait a
guess
second.
which
You
which
haven't
songs
had
you
Forever
have.
After All yet, have you?
I have not had Forever After All, but Forever After All is not on my list.
Oh man, I don't know it then. I could probably. I know it's probably a Combs song. I could guarantee
So my
that.
number 1 song by far, nothing's even remotely close to this. I don't know if it's taken my top spot on my Luke chart, but Without You.
Oh gosh, I should. You know what? I should have known that because we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean from the first time that he debuted it last year in Los Angeles, till when it came out till today. I mean it's it's so quintessential Luke. It's just him talking about just how humble he is and how thankful he is for everything in his life, and my God, do we need that in 2020? And I mean, it might be my favorite Luke's. It really might be my favorite Luke song.
It was amazing.
Wasn't. I mean, that and Through My Ray-Bans probably were the two kind of heartstring songs that pulled at me that I knew was going to be at the top of my list. But it's just hard for me to beat Without You by Luke.
That I think we've talked about that on the show before, with how it's like his tribute to his parents, his wife, and to his fans for basically being the face of him in a sense, and getting him to where he is. And the verses about the fans where you paid $20 for a place to park, got in line early to grab your spot, and that just hits you in the chest because you paid for a baby. I forget off the top of my head right now how the order of the song, but basically you're hiring a babysitter, paying a ton of money to park just to get in line early to watch him sing. And we've seen Luke in the double digits now, and that's just so relatable and so true.
Yeah, man.
And it's cool that he's humble and just recognizes that, and always likes to thank the people that support him, and from what he says gets him to where he is today. So, but that rounds out our top 10s, man. Solid top 10s, and guys, this isn't necessarily what we think is the absolute best country music of 2020. This is just our favorites of 2020, so don't come at us all crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I
didn't have Forever After All on the list just because I couldn't put more Luke songs on there. You know what I mean?
Well, and I lied. I said I only had 2020 songs, and I had a 2019 release on there. So,
But
I'll
I mean,
I'll take I Hope You're Happy Now out, and I'll put Without You by Luke. How's that?
there you go. There you go. There
Wait,
you
that
go.
one that one didn't release technically till 2020, but he teased it in 19.
He
right?
did.
Yeah,
But I mean,
at a live
when I was
show.
looking at this list, last year was like a really good year for country music. Like
Yeah.
I was shocked at how many songs I had like on my like preliminary list, and like the honorable mentions we're getting ready to mention. Like there was just a lot of really good music last year.
There was, man. And speaking of honorable mentions, I'll kick it off. I didn't really put these in any order. I just kind of listed them.
Yeah.
I've
you
got
got?
Build Me a Daddy by Luke Bryan,
Okay.
The Runway, Drew Parker,
There you go.
Seven Summers, Morgan Wallen, Come
Okay.
On by Dan Alley.
Oh, there you go. Shout out. I thought maybe you'd throw Dan in there, but I knew he'd at least be in your honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, Dan's a good guy. He's a local guy who's down in Nashville now, writing songs, trying to make his way. So we're look for big things for Dan Alley. If you guys haven't looked him up or heard him, he's
That's
got
right,
one song out on major platforms. The one I just listed, Come On, go check that out. And then also our friend Brandon Davis, who's on the show, recently released his single "God Made Angels," and I threw that on here as an honorable mention as well.
I
It's
did
one
too.
of my
I had that
favorites
on
for,
there as my
2020.
one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, Brandon's a good guy. I think big things are in store for him. He's crushing it. He's really using social media to his advantage,
Yep.
and people are loving him. And he's got a new song, "Step by Step," that's about to drop on the 21st. I want to say, is that right?
That's gonna be
Do you know?
awesome, man. I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure the exact date. I don't know. This month,
We'll find it. We'll post
the
it.
26th. I just looked it up.
There
January
you go.
26th. Step by Step by Brandon Davis. That is going to be a beautiful song. So make sure you guys check that out. But those are my honorable mentions for 2020.
Those all easily could have made your top 10.
Yeah, it was hard not to fit those in there somewhere. Especially, all of them. Actually, I can't even say especially. I mean,
Yeah.
if we did a top 20, they would have been in there for sure. So.
Absolutely. The ones I've got listed here obviously are those other Stapleton songs. Hell of a View by Eric. That's a freaking killer song. I wrote I Hope You're Happy Now down just as an honorable mention, even though it came out at the end of last year. And then I wrote Next Girl by Carly Pearce, her new single. I had it written down. But then the last honorable mention that I've got written down here, and this I should have probably put this in my top 10 because this is a song that I will remember for 2020 was Where the Cross Don't Burn by Garth and Charlie Pride.
Oh yeah, that one. We talked about that one before. That's a good song, man.
Yeah, man, that's definitely the song from Garth's new CD that I'll remember long term. With just everything that's gone on this year, and so those are the ones I had there, man.
Nice, man. Some of the I picked 3 albums I really liked from 2020.
Yeah, what you got there?
I've got Believe It or Not, Born Here, Live Here, Die Here by Luke Bryan.
Yeah, man.
I thought that was a really
awesome album.
Very well put together album for Luke, even though it was only 10 tracks, but it was diverse back to some of his older sounding style, and it still had his new kind of upbeat poppy sound. So it was a really good album. I've got Ashley McBride's Never Will.
Yep.
And then I've got the monster Stapleton Starting Over. So those were the two top 3 of my favorite albums from this year.
And then obviously Randall's EP.
Yeah, and then if I did throw some EPs in here, Randall's EP, Leanna, and then Drew Parker's EP, While You're Gone.
Yop.
So those are
those
all
are awesome.
amazing,
Yeah,
amazing,
awesome
projects. So you guys go check those out. But what do you have for albums, man?
I wrote Luke and Party down because they both had deluxe albums came out, and those are probably the 2 albums that I listened to the most in 2020. But they obviously they came out in 2019. But the albums that I had written down are Ashley Never Will and Muscadine Bloodline Burn It at Both Ends because I listened to that one like crazy, and then obviously my number 1 album from 2020 would be Stapleton's.
Nice. Hey, 2 of our 3 were the same, right?
That's right, man.
Well, when I looked at the albums that came out in 2020, I'm like, and I wanted to go the route that you did with the deluxe albums, because I knew Party and Combs both did, and I'm like,
yeah, Parties. Is it Beer Light that you like so much?
That's a good one. I do like that one.
Bar Downtown, Beer Light. He put a couple, and then he put like a California version of "Ain't Always the Cowboy" on the end of that too.
I love that one, man. That's
Yeah.
Heartache Medication and Ain't Always the Cowboy are some of my favorites.
Yeah, it's killer, and then obviously Luke's.
Yeah.
Luke's obviously
All of
that's
Luke's
the
Deluxe.
album that you and I listened to the most. I'm sure in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, Party's got a ton of songs I like, and obviously Luke does, but yeah. So those are our top songs, honorable mentions, and favorite albums and EPs of 2020. Guys, we're going to tell you what we found to be our least favorite. This is no disrespect.
This is going to be goofy, probably, but
It's going to be
it's gonna
funny.
fun.
No disrespect to these artists. They're
Yeah,
all
no
great in their
disrespect.
own regard, and if you're fans of them, don't take this personally. My most absolute least favorite song of 2020 is "Good Time" by Nico Moon.
Oh gosh,
I don't know.
I would have bet $500 you were
Yeah,
going to say that.
you probably could have bet 5 million because
Yeah.
I do not like that song. I don't know what I do
man.
not know what image he's going for. I
Oh
don't
man,
get
it's cracking me
Cappy.
up.
Luke's manager picked him
Yeah.
up, which is a total random pickup for their group of folks.
It is. It's a random pickup. I read an article that Cappy said that as long as you write your own songs, he will give you a shot. And Nico writes all of his songs. He wrote a bunch of Zach Brown songs. Like
Yeah.
the guy's probably a really good writer.
Yeah.
But there's just something about his image and this song.
Oh man, I don't get it. But I wish him well. I hope he does, has success. But just not my favorite. And then I'll just ramble mine off here real quick.
Yeah. What else
Chris.
you got?
I Love My Country by Florida Georgia Line on here. I thought that was a corny track, but
Oh man,
catchy. I'll give it that.
it is catchy.
But
yeah, they know how to make a
was just
catchy melody and catchy beat.
thumbs down for me. I was like, whoa. Cool Again by Kane Brown.
Yeah.
Didn't like that at all. I was like, oh god. And this one, some people probably really like this one, but God Whispered Your Name by Keith Urban. Oh my gosh, yeah, did not like that. So those
Joe,
are the
you're
four
cracking me up, man.
of my four of my least favorites from 2020. Man, what do you have as your least favorites?
Well, I had "Good Time" by Nico Moon as my number one least favorite
Surprise!
too.
No.
And then my second one I had "It's About Time" by Russell Dickerson and FGL.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And then
Should have threw that
the
in
next
front.
ones that I had listed are mostly from people that you and I love. "We Back" by Jason Aldean, which is probably my least favorite Jason Aldean song of all time.
Yeah.
And then early in the year, Luke, it came out in 2019, but it went to number one in February. You and I both very much don't like this song, "What She Wants Tonight."
Oh gosh, dude, yeah, that was, and I think I've told this story before to the listeners and you, obviously, when I heard that a new Luke Bryan song was dropping and releasing, and I was so excited. I'm like, oh yeah, because we love Luke Bryan, right? And
Oh yeah.
when I turned it on, I think I made it like not even halfway through the song, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is trash, I was like, this is horrible. Turned it off. I don't even think I listened to it again until I heard it on the radio or something. I might be lying there, but it grew on me a little bit over time just because it's Luke Bryan and it's, you hear it so many times it becomes catchy.
Yeah.
Kind of like I Love My Country by Florida Georgia Line. You don't choose to listen to that, but when you hear it, it's like, oh, it's kind of catchy, but it's horrible.
Exactly.
But yeah.
It's
yeah,
bad though. It's really
yeah,
bad.
It's bad. So good choices there, man.
It's so bad.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that is wrapping it up for our favorites and least favorites of 2020.
Yep.
I'm just super excited to see what 2021 brings for us here at the pod, and keep giving all our listeners some hopefully good content.
Absolutely, man. I know we've got some good stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm obviously we'll probably touch on Morgan's album, and then we got I think next week is gonna be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun one. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys are following us all over social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If it's a social media platform, we're pretty much everywhere. Just search Bro Country Pod, Bro Country Podcast. You'll be able to find us.
Yep.
And I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. Just stay tuned. We got some exciting news coming for 2021. Can't wait to go on that adventure with you guys. And as always, keep it country and take care of each other.